little mock strawberry, not to be confused with wild strawberry, because from what I gather, they're different. Wild strawberries are actually really good. I hear that they can actually be sweeter than store-bought strawberries. But yeah. Hey, look, and there's only a couple bugs on that one. This is what we're looking for. You know, this is getting kind of big for my liking. Usually we try to pick this whenever it's close to the ground. We also, or I try to not pick it after it starts to get red along the base. You can see how it's getting purple down there. Once it starts getting big, and a lot more of the salt starts turning purple, that's when I think the poison starts building up in it. The toxins start building up in it. I've read different things though. I've read somewhere that the toxin is actually a buildup of vitamin A, and that it's actually vitamin A poisoning that people suffer from. But I do not know myself. I've never been poisoned by it, nor have I met or know anybody who's ever actually been poisoned by it. But don't eat it. Do your own research, and don't eat it unless you go out with somebody who knows what they're doing and they're with you personally. Even then, a bite is good just to begin with, little bits at a time, baby steps. Checking the stem. I think my great grandma used to would have eaten this, but that's awful big around. I mean, usually whenever we pick them, they're a lot more thin. Is that right? Is that right wording? That's a little bit smaller. I probably could have eaten that one too, but. this is going to be the last boil. This boil is probably not necessary. It's like my grandma only boils it one time and strains it. She's been eating it all of her life though. And just to be safe, I boil it usually twice. But whenever I first heard to eat it, somebody somewhere other than my grandma, I guess, told me to boil it 3 times. So yeah, to be safe, for at least this video, I'm boiling it 3 times. The first time I let it boil for about 5 minutes. The second time it was in there while the water was coming up to a boil, so it sat in there a little bit longer, and I let it boil for maybe 2 to 3 minutes. And then I dumped it back out, and pretty much what you're doing is you are leaching any of the, I guess, vitamin A or whatever toxins, chemical, whatever poisons, whatever toxins are in there. You're pretty much leaching them out. Pretty much the same thing you would do with acorns if you were making like acorn flour or whatever. Anyways, yeah. Alright guys, I thought I would go ahead and show you this, right? So this is the plant we're cooking. This is poke. This is one of the ones that's out there. As you can see, there's not a lot of purple. There's a tiny bit of purple right there. But like there's not very much purple on this at all. I've been told that the purple that is in it is the poison. I don't know if that's true or not. But regardless, I don't harvest it when I try to avoid as much or all purple as I can. I pick it when it's really only about this tall above the ground. I really don't try to get too much taller. That's, I don't know if you guys can tell, but I mean that's just a little bit taller than my hands. So yeah. Let's see. Also, it'll get berries on it as it gets older. I pick it long before it gets purple berries on it. But if you look inside, as they start to get bigger, in the very, very middle here, sometimes you will find it'll start getting a little bitty white, like a little white thing that'll come out in the very, very middle, and that's the start of the berries that are coming. And usually I try to pick them before you can even see any kind of like the start of the berries or anything, which like it's early enough in the season right now that you can't really see. It doesn't look like it has any kind of berries starting. So yeah, that would be more than fine to throw in there and cook. But yeah, I try to avoid any of them that have little bitty white starts of berries forming. I mean, you'll be able to tell because it's it's white. It's not like the green, the rest of the plant. And some of them you will start to get like a little bit, and I will sometimes tear off some of the little bitty tiny ones that are just barely starting. But try to avoid, if you're trying to do this, try to avoid any poke that has any kind of berries or any start of berries if you can. Alright, this has come to a boil for the last time, so I'm going to go ahead and call it. Usually at this point, like the way that we would cook it, I guess traditionally, is that the right word? The way that we would usually cook it would be somebody would have bacon grease. We would have bacon grease going. We would have some bacon cooking on the stove, and we would be making bacon grease, and then we would pour this in here and start frying it, and then we would throw a couple eggs in there, and we would fry all that in the bacon grease and throw whatever's left of the bacon a lot of times in there. I a lot of times like to make, I ain't got the time to do it now, but I like to make fried potatoes and then make gravy and pretty much do the same thing with the eggs, and then just pour all of it, pour the poke and the eggs on top of the fried potatoes, and then pour gravy all over that. Alright. It cooks down a whole lot. It's about like spinach or anything else, so you get a whole garbage bag or a whole Walmart bag full of it. You get a whole plastic bag full of it, and then you cook it down, and it only ends up being about a cup of greens. Ow! Sloshed hot water in my eyeball. I'm sure that's probably good for it. If I get like supervision, like within the next couple weeks, you guys will know why. Alright. Well, usually I add bacon to this, but I don't have any bacon, so I threw butter in the bottom. We're going to throw some smoked ham in there. And then once that starts warming up and gets going, we'll throw the poke in there, and then we'll throw a couple eggs in there. Call it good. Alright, that's probably been cooking for about 3 minutes. It'll probably be good. Don't that look delicious? A big old glob of that. Which this stuff has it has its own very unique taste. There's no way to describe it. It does not taste anything like spinach. Growing up, we hated spinach. Or me and my sisters. I would eat it because, I mean, Popeye and all that jazz. Somebody fooled me into thinking that if I ate my spinach that I was going to grow up big and strong. But anyways, but yeah, it's got its own very unique taste. It's also got a very unique smell, which you can kind of use to help you identify it after you've been around it a bit. You can't smell it unless you break the stalk, though. It's not like you walk by and it's like,
I smell some poke growing somewhere around here.
okay. Let that cook for another probably 2 to 3 minutes. Alright, well, it's been cooking for probably 3-4 minutes. Probably not, it's probably only been cooking for like 60 seconds, but it sure does feel like 3 to 4 minutes. We're going to go ahead and add the eggs. Alright, I think this will be the last one. Alright. Probably gonna have to trade this little plastic thing in for an actual spatula. Also salt this a decent amount. Well, I mean, I guess you'd salt it about like you would salt eggs. Let's wait for it to cook. Oh no, drop some. Ow. Let it cook again, then we'll flip it all again. Man, I am making a mess. Looks like it's about done now. Eggs are all cooked. Nothing's watery or runny. Alright. I think I'm gonna call that good. Usually I would just eat it out of this pan, out of the skillet, but I'll be civilized for you guys just this one time. Turn that off. Alright, here we got our food. Taste test. And I don't usually eat around people, so you guys are lucky I'm doing this. I'm just messing with you. Yeah, you use a little bit more salt, but I mean, it tastes like Coke with a little bit of ham. That ham's not a mistake. Alright guys, have a good rest of the day. Thanks for watching this, I guess, and yeah, have fun, but don't have too much fun. See you guys in the next one.